Welcome to another episode of Arlene Inspires the Wellness Show. To say 2022 has had an easy start would be a complete lie. There have been so many transformative astrological events creating all kinds of shakeups, from relationships and self development breakdowns affecting us and the entire world. But there are some amazing breakthroughs. You have not had yours, well, I'm sure yours is around the corner, but not without facing and walking through our own shadows. Today, I'm about to get really real, raw, and accountable. I want to discuss our ever elusive self worth. Have you ever met a beautiful, confident, sophisticated woman who walks into a room and people cannot help themselves to stare at her? Men and women. People admire her for her accomplishments, her advocacy, her voluntarism, and she makes it all happen. She has great character, great work ethic, all while seeming very friendly, thoughtful, enthusiastic, and passionate. How many of us know someone like this? Who seems to have it all together, yet we scratch our heads when we find ourselves not understanding why she puts up with certain toxic behavior. She's dismissed, berated, undervalued, and yes, at times, mentally or emotionally abused by her close loved ones. Have you ever wondered why she keeps settling for less and doing the very thing she says she would never do? Maybe she's a family member or a friend. Would you believe me if I told you they can be the same woman, very accomplished, but her self worth eludes her? This, my friends, is what I like to call the ever elusive self worth syndrome. So the answer is yes. I know someone like this. Me. I have all these personality traits, and let me tell you, I am a work in progress. Hi, my name is Arlene Rivera, and I am recovering from low self esteem and self worth. Not only have I experienced it, I now overcompensate at times. I also have friends and family members who also suffer from low self esteem, and all I can do is wait for them to be ready to take inventory of their self love and worth. For example, one of my friends does not see how her partner speaks to her in a degrading way through sexual jokes, especially when they drink. Sometimes she gets a glimpse, but then she excuses him based on past behavior and experiences. Because she does not want to find herself alone. She distracts herself to not think about it by volunteering so she does not have to deal with the part of her soul that is saying, hey, wake up. That is not okay. You deserve better. Don't settle. I know other women that have experienced such abusive relationships that end up with guys that still take advantage of them, but because the previous guy was worse, they justify the new one. Thus, this cycle of codependency, passive aggressive behavior, manipulation, and guilt begin. They create havoc on our self worth because we're scared to be honest with ourselves. This is not happening only to women. I have very close male friends who also deal with similar situations. The fear of ending up alone makes a lot of people settle for less while losing themselves. Is this starting to resonate with you now? Do you know someone like this? Could it be you? I know I have been here. So, how do we work on this elusive self worth feeling? How do we remain consistent when we experience not enoughness? When we start justifying others even when we're hurting, and instead of addressing how we feel, we tell ourselves, he or she did not mean that. He or she has so much going on, it's okay. We go as far as to say, I've done it myself, so I know he or she made a mistake. I will be fine. He or she will not do it again, and we wear the mask. So when do we say, hey, wait, stop? How did my actions or words give permission to what just happened to happen? What patterns do I need to recognize and mitigate? Am I accountable here? See, we teach people how to treat us. And as humans, our go to is to go into a victimhood mentality and see injustice. It is easier to blame others. But remember, when you point one finger at someone, there are four other fingers pointing right at you. Instead of justifying or excusing ourselves, let's own our behavior. And this is not for the other person, this is for ourselves, so we don't repeat the patterns. We can create a different outcome, which brings me to brutal honesty. Yes, you heard me right. Brutal honesty. But not with others. It's a lot harder than that. With ourselves. When a situation happens, do we move into justification to protect our loved one over ourselves? Let's look inward and do an inventory of circumstances or situations and own our own reactions. How many of these did we allow? How many of them were created by us? Let's ask ourselves, can I do better or do I deserve better? Sit with it without judgment or a need to solve anything. Forgive yourself and please do not judge yourself. If you do need to address it, and voice boundaries, find your voice, nip it in the bud. Don't allow it to happen again because it will. Now, let's go back to teaching others how to treat us. Keep going without judgment to yourself and others, but be more self aware of your actions and reactions that give room for your close relationships to disrespect you. They don't get there alone. We're always co creating. The trick is not to co create from negative emotions. The majority of the time, we look up to our close loved ones for stability and happiness, and they look up to us for the same. Our stability comes from source, from our relationship with our source or God, not from another human. Happiness and stability are an inside job. Set healthy boundaries and respect boundaries. No excuses or justification. I would like to suggest a pledge to ourselves. Let's practice a self care morning routine. If you already have one, then add the following: set up an intention to have tremendous accountability with ourselves. Remind yourself how loved you are by you. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. If you miss any of the items of your morning routine, create a promises and consequences process. For example, if you forget to tell yourself in the mirror you love you, then maybe your consequence would be, I don't know, for me, wake up at 4 a.m. as opposed to 5 a.m. for 1 week. I challenge you, do this pledge for yourself every morning as it sets the intention for the day and reminds you how you will treat yourself, but most importantly, what you will allow for others to show you with their actions, keeping the ever elusive self worth in check. With brutal honesty, with yourself first and then with others, you will transform your pain into purpose. And then your message will be, I love myself so much. I only attract those who can love me as much as I am loving myself or more. I hope you find value shining the light on this topic to help you live a life of integrity with yourself. It is only when we learn to embrace our shadows that we truly light up. Let's strive to be perfectly imperfect. I know when I started my healing intention in January, I never imagined that these last 2 months will be as transformative as they have been. It was not easy. Trust the process, trust the unknown, trust in miracles. From beautiful Hawaii, until next time.